Welcome back. We're about to kick off game number 2 between Evil Geniuses Academy and 100 Thieves Academy. The Geniuses are up 1-0 after a pretty back-and-forth game where Crumbs, it did feel like 100 Thieves were in control, but Gyu's assassin Akali and the rest of his team had a lot to say about that.
Yeah, that control was objective control. 4 dragons, 2 heralds, so many turrets. But the Akali could not be contained. The Akali is, I mean, it's going to be banned, Paige. There's just no way somebody goes into the draft moving forward and does not perma-ban this against Gyu from now on. And it might be a painful lesson, though, because we don't know how tight this series is going to be. Seeing how this one went down, we speculate that it actually could be fairly contentious.
And it's interesting, right? Because I can't think of another champion on the EG side that had nearly as much impact. Like Kumo, I think, actually did do a lot of work behind the scenes in those team fights, being disruptive on the Renekton. I think Anda had a lot of impact on the Nidalee, probably throwing heals around, and then definitely Matt were kind of built to engage, really, with the Ashe and Nautilus, right? Like, they have to get a lot of the job done in a team comp with not a whole lot of traditional ways to start a team fight. But even though all the attention was on the Akali, I'm curious if it's, like, just a Gyu thing, like if you get him off all of his champions where he can play make, do EG fall flat, or is there more strings in the EG bow, let's say? And do you even have enough champions to get Gyu off a comfort pick? Because we know about Aurelia, Akali's clearly back in the meta and he's comfortable playing it. Curious to see kind of how the series unfolds, especially in picks and bans, which should be on their way in a minute or two.
You read my mind, Pastry. The Aurelia. And why do I think Aurelia more than ever now? Well, not only does she get buffed, but her best jungler is back on the menu. Sejuani's back.
Sejuani.
Yeah, so Sejuani Aurelia could also be a combo that they bust out whenever they feel like it at the moment. And that is going to be very deadly because you're not going to be able to first rotation ban that away. You don't have that many bans to spare. I mean, you could try to pinpoint Gyu into these melee champions, but when you look at what he has played for the majority of the season, he has gone so far away from this, so it just feels like this is just another depth to the player that is harder to contain, because Soligo, still going with those control mages, is not going to present some sort of counter matchup to these champions, like say, I'm going to take a bruiser in the mid lane and try to 1v1 you that way. He's just going to try to outfarm.
I wonder if Soligo even potentially wants to take the assassin here. There's, I think he is more flexible than he appears. Like, yes, he's known for his control mages, his Azir especially, his Orianna also, his Syndra, but he has shown, he can play Twist of Fate. He's shown, I think, Pantheon at one point. Like, there was a period where Soligo was trying just about everything and making it look good. So he is certainly a player that is better, has a deeper champion pool than the initial look at the numbers might suggest. And with so many different champions getting changed this patch, Crumbs, it's almost a question to me of, like, which team has figured out of, like, the 25 champions that got changed, like, which ones are still good, which ones are now not good, and which ones can we pick out and play. And I think across playoffs in the LCS and Academy, we're going to learn more and more about, hey, there are more viable champions than you think. It's just a matter of putting the time in and trying to make them work.
Part of that viability, I think, feels like just receiving Christmas gifts when you wake up to patch notes that have your own champions buffed, but suddenly Akali's not banned, Pastry. What is going on?
First pick Akali. Or they think they can beat it. To be fair, 100 Thieves, like, were very much in that game. So in their minds, they maybe don't have to change all that much, but they have not swapped sides. They'll stay here on blue. And they will first pick Ezreal once again. This is not a replay. This is live. This is the actual champ select. I want to promise you all.
Sadly, it won't be a salty run back because the set is banned, but thus far, Kennedy has actually proven to be a very, very flexible jungler. He has, played 5 unique champions in 7 games. That's pretty impressive for somebody that just came into the league.
Yep, there's a center flash there from EG, but it is Nidalee once again here for the Geniuses. Ashe also available. Looks like Kai'Sa is going to be shown here for Ender. Certainly something that both Deathly and Prismal do play. Okay, but I wonder if
they hesitated if Ashe was the best pick. They were saying, we know Nidalee for sure. We actually are not entirely set on the AD yet.
Or Ender's just having fun clicking through champions. Senna? Yeah, Senna is the selection here. So already a very big departure from EG's draft. This feels like very poke heavy, regardless of where the center ends up going, whether it's for definitely or for Matt, whether it's farming or support. Kind of curious to see how this team comp works out, because you have a lot of utility and a lot of poke between these two champions. So you're going to build very different looking comps, even though you have the same jungler as you did before. I also like this from Kenvi. I thought his set was pretty good, but he's saying, you know what? I'm the best jungler around these parts. Let me show you. He's going to take Lee Sin here and get nice and aggressive.
It's so exciting. He's unlocked. EG banned it the first time around. Instead of the set ban, it was the Lee in that first game. So he's going to do a slight adaptation and give himself a little bit more mobility when it comes to dealing with Anda. No longer will he just stand by and dodge spears. He can actually go into the Nidalee, and we might get to see some exciting kick flashes out of him as well. But what is EG going to respond here with? Because you already see the mid lane matchup. Is it going to be Twisted Fate like you were hinting at? It could definitely work with the Nidalee. It's a very strong combination, but nope.
Yeah.
Akali.
Yeah, just Akali. I mean, if they did pick a different mid laner, I'd be like, what is happening? Like, EG just trying to flex on 100 Thieves, showing, like, look how many champions we can play. Because it doesn't really seem like Gyu needs to move away from his champion until he's forced to. Certainly not in this matchup. Like, he got counterpicked last game and was just fine despite going very far down in CS, thanks to Saligo's good landing on the Ori, but was impactful enough in teamfights that I don't think he was too worried about being bullied in the laning phase, so he'll happily run back the matchup, effectively counterpicking himself here with the way the laning phase went in the last game, but it doesn't really seem to matter as the rest of the bans are going to move through. Bard and Shen once again will be taken away from both Breezy and Kuma respectively.
It's going to be tricky for 100 Thieves to approach this second ban, because we have seen from EG they can play the Senna Karma bottom lane. It's the fasting Senna instead, with the Karma getting a lot of the farm. And they would actually make this comp fairly dangerous if you could also pair it with a physical damage top laner like a Renekton again. So you would have a little bit more pokey, less of that hard engage from the Nautilus. But we saw from that last game, Nautilus did not have a very big impact. We saw it coming from a mile away, but the engages were really the arrows and the Akali. Renekton is not going to be available, so that does severely limit the physical damage champions that Kumo can play that will also have a dominant laning phase.
Ooh, they're going to steal the Tahm Kench this time around, so don't want to give Prismal and Breezy the safety of the Ezreal Tahm Kench that was. I mean, despite how like slippery that lane is, Evilgenius did a pretty good job of killing them by teleporting everybody down there, so looks like they do want to at least take it away. Ooh, Breezy might mix it up here. Blitzkrieg's a really cool pick if he does want to take it here, but looks like he's going to go for Braum instead.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Tahm Kench gets away with another very solid laning phase against another melee match. No one's playing Enchanters against the Tahm Kench. No one wants to play range against this pick, letting him go through and do his dirty work with Senna in the bottom. And already so much healing coming from the side of EG. There's going to be a need for healing reduction out of 100 Thieves lineup thus far. And Fake God with his blind pick top lane. It's going to go Ornn, a little bit of a engage and scaling tool.
Back to on duty for Fake God. This is kind of what works for a lot of different teams, right? I mean, his DP did look good, but I feel like he got so lost in the side lanes with Gyu being as strong as he was, kind of being the wrench that maybe 100 Thieves weren't anticipating would be nearly as problematic as it was. Also, Volibear is up and available. Kumo does actually like this champion. I believe he's won on it twice. I think it's his only champion that he's won on in the regular season that he has more than one game on. And he's going to take it here up against the Ornn because it's on. You can kind of pick whatever you want. Everyone's just going to hang out in top lane and have a great time.
That is an exciting pick. I actually do not mind the Volibear at all. Some physical damage there, good laning presence. And back to the Ornn and the Braum. It actually makes it even harder for Gyu to assassinate champions now. So there is a way for the Ornn to survive the side lanes, unlike what the Renekton had to deal with. Sorry, the Gangplank had to deal with last time. And same thing with Breezy. The Braum is going to be so much tougher to assassinate and snipe down. And another reason why the Akali might not have been touched, while 100 Thieves could not have seen it coming since EG had the final ban, Lee is going to do really well into the Akali. You can just kick her out, you can Q her, and you can just kill her in your shroud.
Yep, it's pretty. Lee, one of the few champions that I think has ways to reveal her as well. Just naturally built into his kits. So we'll see how Kenvi can do here. Again, I think his set looked really good, but it's not the same aggressive champions we know he can succeed on. So I think he's been giving a little bit more agency in this game, and Fake God's being shifted to on duty instead of Gangplank duty, just to maybe stabilize the team comps a little bit. Again, I don't think 100 Thieves had to do that much differently than what they did in the last game here. They just need to, make some adjustments, and I think just be a little bit more aware of like how willing Gyu is to start team fights and be disruptive on the Akali, because I think 100 Thieves thought that team fights would be a bit more straightforward, and they were anything but towards the end of that game.
They got caught off guard. They did not know how EG was going to approach the game, whether it was playing around mid, top, or the eccentric focus to the bottom lane, and how aggressive Giyu was, like you were saying. So I think there actually is a lot to be said for them letting the Akali go through and saying, we're just going to give you the run back because we actually liked how our jungler was playing. And I was just a little bit smiling at the fact that how ironic is it that the blind champion is the one that reveals invisible picks?
Well, we'll see how Kenvi can do on the Lee Sin this time around, because we are going to step away to build up the game delay, but when we come back, we'll have the game right from the beginning. Welcome back. We're about to get to game number 2 between 100 Thieves Academy and Evil Geniuses Academy. EGA are up 1-0. Anything can happen here in the best of 5 crumbs. We had 5 games today in the LCS. We had 5 games yesterday in Academy. We'll see if we get either 3-0 or 3-2, because I feel like those are the only results we've got in playoffs so far. So I'm assuming 3-1 is impossible.
Yeah, it's never happened. Never happened.
It's literally never happened in summer 2020 postseason.
Yeah. We could definitely see it going that way. And I wouldn't be surprised to see anybody also stick through the entire best of 5 LCS, the best of 5 Academy, and the first thing they do after is play some League of Legends right away. I definitely get the itch after watching players like Giyu have that kind of Akali performance. It's like, oh, this looks easy. could totally
Oh,
do this.
I remember this champion. This
Yeah.
champion's sick. And you try and play, you're like, oh, wait, this is hard.
Like, wait,
What do I
he was
do?
not point and click? What's going on? What did I miss?
Her ult point and click is easy.
Yeah.
All right, well, Gyu does have the Akali again, so I'm curious to see if 100 Thieves adjustments they made to this draft can contain her in team fights. As a reminder, like, I think the game ended in such a dramatic fashion for EG, but like 100 Thieves had complete control of the jungle in the early game with Kenvi running the show alongside Saligo's laning. They had the Cloud Soul. They were like completely set up to win that game, and then just kind of lost a couple team fights towards the end. Couldn't really close out the game, and gave the win over to EG. So certainly it doesn't seem like 100 Thieves need to do much to make the result of the last game go differently, as long as they can navigate to that spot, which given how they played, you think they will be comfortable getting there again. But there have been a number of changes made here, especially on the EG side, which is surprising. Like, Senna is a very different champion than the Ashe Nautilus that Deathly and Matt had last time, and it will be farming Senna here for Deathly, so a bit more traditional of a marksman here. But we do see this as well. Senna just very flexible in either of her intended roles, which I guess makes sense based on the champion design.
Okay, so EG's mid 2v2 being really aggressive with the spears early on and actually gets the ward. It looks like Fake God scouted it. No one's going to base for a trinket to sweep that out. It's really terrible if Lee Sin starts with the red trinket, so instead he might just start at red buff to make sure that nobody sees it, or he could just go for blue and accept that Anda has his eyes on him and just move away from that as quickly as possible. So I personally prefer starting on that camp right away, and that way you can actually mess with your route a little bit more as opposed to starting on, say, red, pathing to the blue side, and now you give away what CS you have, so you actually tell your opponent what other camps you might have taken along the way.
All right, so pretty interesting to see what Saligo did there. I didn't see what happened at level 1 in the last game, but that's a very aggressive way to meet that mini wave. He actually met the wave, instantly autoed it, and then tried to zone Gyu out with the ball. So Saligo was playing to absolutely dominate this 1v1 once again, at least in the laning phase, and Kenvi will just accept the fact that he is going to be giving away some information. Actually has Safeguard as well, interestingly. I'm not sure if that's the standard or if that's something he needed early on because of a potential invade, but regardless, he should be just fine clearing through this jungle, and Anda's going to go ahead and power farm 2. Red into Krugs there for Anda, likely just going to clear up both sides of his jungle as fast as humanly possible.
And this power farm from top side from Anda tells me that he's thinking about returning to the top side on the second rotation spawn to play around dragons again. Because if you're EG's team, coach, or whatever, the one thing you're pointing out is that you're very happy that you won that game, but you need to make sure that you clean up that objective control because you got obliterated by Kenvi when it came to dragons and heralds. So I think EG will have a greater focus on that this time around, and having your jungler path down there and helping out your bot lane is a great way to make sure that the pressure translates into those objectives.
Yep, also top lane here, Kumo continuing to be on the aggressive side of the top lane matchup, but he has the Volibear here up against the Ornn. I think a lot less volatile than GP Renekton, especially with Blade of the Ruin King first Renekton, and also Kumo has a Doran's Ring, which is kind of neat.
And bears with rings, they're cool.
They are cool.
He has enough sustain with his W to just need more mana than shield. And the wave clear that he has actually makes it so that Fake God never really gets in range to proc the Brittle against him. So the power of lane Volibear, although most would prefer him in the jungle from how great he can be at those ganks. And here comes that first attempt, fighting for that bot lane scuttle. Will the spear
Oh, he
connect?
missed. Ooh, that looked so scary for a moment, but Kenvi does successfully get the crab. Looks like Kumo is actually going to go ahead and do some juggling of his own here, pushing out the wave top lane and then roaming down to take the crab himself. So a lot of vision here gained by Kumo on the top side of the map.
It's so great when you have a top laner that can crowd control the crab and actually take it down, because a champion like Gangplank is never able to leave his lane and quickly take that objective, whereas a Volibear, a Renekton, that kind of pick can just take a quick little stroll when they know it's safe and make sure that the enemy jungler does not get two crabs. Help out Anda.
Bottom lane here as well, you can see Prismal and Breezy getting kind of poked out here. This is one of the things that Senna is very good at. Pumpkin's also not bad poking people out with the tongue lash if you can land them, and so far so good in the 2v2, up 10 CS right now. for Deathly and Matt, and it's not going to get any better as they're getting poked out under the tower as well. Deathly's going to collect those souls.
Oh, it's so annoying, but also so good for Deathly to continue to stack not only with his creep, but just whacking away at Breezy and Prismal, which that's why I was a little surprised at the Braum pick, because you're just going to let Senna just beat you to death in the bottom lane, and we might have our first little tussle here as both junglers are going for the blue side jungle, but because Kenby is thinking about a different route, doesn't go straight to the Braum, and nothing happens.
Yep, and they're going to go ahead and steal one camp away, so is up right now. Oh no!
Oh,
Again, Kenby looking close to disaster, but is now going to know that End is here, and actually just going to try and fight the Nidalee if he can land the Q, which he cannot. And now the spear is going to hit. Very accurate there for Ando on this Nidalee. As the TP back in for Prismal is forced. They're down the bottom lane going for the 2v2, but seems ill-advised given what we've seen already from the center. And definitely, oh, what a great W as well. Prismal going back in, he's shifted in, he's going to get devoured. That's going to be a first blood, and that's just such a massive mistake from 100 Thieves.
Oh my god, Pastry, massive indeed, because he TP'd down there and the wave is pushing back. Oh my god, it is a disaster for the bottom lane. Ezreal doesn't even have enough money for a tier to get that back after that death, so it is just brutal. Okay, let's see how it played out. So he TP's behind them. Shield is already down, so it's going to be really tricky to fight, but
we don't have time.
Fight in the top lane.
Dive in the top lane. Oh, what a knock up there for FLICKR. Gets the knock up again with the ulti. Outplaying everything. Kuma with the ulti is going to get low, but he's not out just yet. And FLICKR completely outplays EG in the top lane.
Wow, okay, those double ruby crystals doing a lot of work for the Ornn, keeping him alive, even getting the flash out of Kumo to make sure that he lives. And this is an opportunity for Kenby. Great flash from Anda.
Yeah, would have been a kill for sure, but Kenby going to take control of this crab. FLICKR still feeling fine, but gonna be, TP coming in, smite there for Kenby. He's just going to get out, does have a ward if he needs it. Jukes the spear and walks away, knows that Kumo can't really chase. As mid lane, Matt has walked in for Gyu here. He's burning the ulti already to try and harass the Liga, who has TP back to lane. I think Gyu just wants to push it and get back out himself.
When it rains, it pours in this game, because the second one fight breaks out, everybody wants to get in on the action. And 7 minutes have gone by. They know that Anda started in the red side. This is Kenby hunting Nidalee. He wants his revenge. What a good ward. He didn't even, where did he even see that Kenby was going up there? That is some great reading from Anda to know what Kenby was up to.
Yeah, they can see this red buff attempt as well here. Kenby just going to have to be forced to reset the buff because Kumo is out of there. So Liga roaming up though. Gyu's around, so this could be a 3v3 pretty quickly. Kumo's actually zoning FLICKR off of this potential pathway, but FLICKR's going to stay and make sure that the red buff steal can be completed, and Kenby is finally going to take a camp away from Anda.
Now they concede the red buff. It's not the end of the world. Nidalee's already gotten some counter jungling of her own, and without flash, it is really risky knowing that Kenby has his as well. So there's no need to gamble on an objective that's not going to have major implications for the outcome of the game. He's got his own blue buff. He knows that Kenby is going to be at the blue side right now, as Orianna has just been handed off the blue buff. So there is an opportunity here for EG to do something, and they're going to use it for the dragon.
Yeah, 2v2 also continuing. I just don't know why 100 Thieves are being so aggressive here.
They haven't based. EG still has the same items.
Oh, that's true. Definitely still has the Doran's Blade. I guess that explains a bit more of the aggression, but Definitely's got the TP. He can reset anytime. EG just want to stay out on the map to make sure they can get this dragon, and indeed, they will finally get the first Drake in this series as they take down the Cloud Dragon.
Now the bot lane can rest easy. They can leave and just finally buy some items. I think this is probably going to be, what, the tier and pickaxe coming out of Deathly. I think he actually might have Mirror Mana flat. Yep, he's got it.
That's a lot of gold that Deathly has.
Mana.
That assist gold. Yeah, Mana Mune. Eventually, it transforms into Mirror Mana. Yeah, I got it mixed up last game too. Just a lot of vowels.
Right.
Certainly be tricky.
The blue sword.
The blue sword. Well, same sword there for Prismal on the other side as well. Probably same, if not or similar build for Prismal here, but he's going to go for that tier item first as well. Makes sense on this pretty mana-hungry marksman. But again, I try and remember the bans. I think Kalista might have been banned again, but I don't think Caitlyn was.
Yeah, Caitlyn, I think Caitlyn, Galio, Kalista.
Oh, by 100 Thieves again? This is the thing, right? Like, definitely, I mean, took the Ashe, was like, yeah, lane matchup wasn't that good. Now taking the center, being way more impactful in this harassment, and like Breezy even had the option to counterpick support as well, and just wonder if 100 Thieves maybe don't have as many options as they would like in the bot lane, but I guess that's something we can track as the series does continue, because Anders on the Rift Herald right now is EG are the ones with all this objective control.
We've seen this last time. It actually was the same first Rift Herald where EG had started and then 100 Thieves ends up collapsing. This might be a picture-in-picture though. Here comes Kennedy.
Steal again? Surely not. I don't think he got it. But there's the on ulti out of Fake God, finds a knock-up onto Kumo only. And who's got the Herald? It is indeed Giyu. So EG did secure it this time. Hey, the ulti again.
The ultimate too. It looks the exact same.
All right, well, the result is different, Crumbs. Giyu did manage to get the Herald, so he's going to be able to pop that probably for himself at this point. Obviously, in the scramble, we'll just want to make sure you get the eye rather than who gets it. But we'll see when Giyu does want to drop it here. Also having a bit better of a time in the 2v2. Still down 20 CS, so Sligo continuing to lane well in this matchup, but hasn't been enough to contain Giyu roaming around and being safe farming here in the mid lane. And we already know that he's really a much bigger threat once the lanes start opening up a little bit more.
I think he takes this matchup knowing that he's going to be at a deficit, and I love also seeing when Anda just walks by the mid lane and pops a heal for his Akali just to keep her topped off in the lane, knowing that it's going to be a struggle against the Orianna. But the Herald recall is actually going to make things pretty smooth for him, as he can actually afford to base under a non-cannon wave and will miss just 2 CS.
A couple CS denied off there. He's going to catch the rest of that wave. Catches 3, I believe. So not too bad at all. Almost has the Gunblade finished as well. That really is the struggle for Akali in the early levels. It's just the getting Gunblade takes so long. Prismal, oh my goodness! I assumed Anda was going to like press all his buttons and fly in there, but not going to go for it just yet. Does have his jungle enchant finished as well. So does Kenby. To be fair, he's got Warrior and 2 longswords, so he is quite powerful. He just needs to get in areas where he can use that power. And this bottom lane is not going well at all. In fact, EG don't even need the TP this time, Crumbs. They're going to walk you down here.
And okay, the control ward has been cleared, but the harass is so strong on the bottom lane from 100 Thieves. It's fine though, the Rift Herald has been popped. They just need a little bit extra damage down here, and 100 Thieves just has to back off. They actually waste so much because mid and jungle came down without being able to pressure anything else. So it's almost as if EG, the cost that they had to pay to move the mid and jungle was never actually capitalized on from 100 Thieves, because look at that. They get all the experience and only miss 1 CS.
Yeah, 2,000 gold up now for Evil Genius's Academy, which is pretty significant given how early we are into this game. I feel like Giyu's like doing even better than he was in the last time. Like he played the matchup and was down in farm, but he also wasn't really doing anything other than farming in that matchup. This time he's at least being able to move out of his lane and have an impact elsewhere. So this is definitely like similar to the style we came to know and love from EG in spring. And despite some personnel changes, despite some meta changes, this Fake God here in the top lane is going to probably seal the deal on Kumo. Can be looking for the Q, but he's not going to land it. And Anda there in time as the mobile ambulance is going to make sure Kumo is out safely.
Yeah, Kumo has also been playing the laning phase pretty well here, much better than I think what the Renekton had gone, because he's having a lot
Prismal,
of
don't do it.
pressure. Prismal, oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, gonna walk away now, gonna know what's up as Akali's gonna track him, but Giyu wants it in again, he's just gonna flash in, looks for the dive, gets the execute, and Giyu once again under the tier 2 takes down Prismal.
Thank you, observers, that was great. That's like watching Animal Planet documentary where you're watching the predator just hunt this prey, and Stalker, the helpless little deer, could not help his curiosity and eventually got taken down.
That was so much distance covered by Giyu as well. Kind of curious to see that one again if possible, but regardless, Giyu definitely knows his way around this champion. He's making Prismal's life miserable as the red buff steal does not happen. I believe Kenby has it, but bottom lane is where the action is. Giyu is going to be assaulted, but he's in the shroud. Matt's there to save him. And now it's the TP in. Oh, good kick there for Kenby. Kumo straight under the tower, but the Devour is good for Matt as Kenby is going to be taken out by Anders. Saligo with the ult. He's going to try and kill Matt, but he goes into the shield there as Giyu's going to tag up Saligo, and EG just going to get the kill and walking out of there. Anders not even done, actually, as he gets the poke down onto Breezy. This is starting to get out of hand, Crumbs.
Whoa, those knit spears from the side were deadly. I don't think Kenvi even saw it coming, because that's actually how the Nidalee ended up killing the Lee Sin. And not only has it gotten out of hand for the jungle matchup, but it seems like everywhere 100 Thieves has fallen apart despite the concentrated bot lane efforts being so different than last time. They're not really netting kills, they're just getting 100 Thieves really pushed back. They're so reactive now.
Yeah, 100 Thieves were, able to have all the objectives controlled. They're able to get leads in their mid lane especially. They kind of kept things, afloat in the other lanes and looked very strong scaling up into that mid game. But this time it's like a completely different story. Maybe this is what happens when EG get a lead in the early game, right? They're 4,000 gold ahead. They've got 2 dragons already. And they're continuing to make plays here, although moving up here onto Kumo. Kumo's going to have to back away, but he's already got the Triforce finish. Fake God trying to bait him in, but Kumo will not bite.
Kumo has his ultimate. If anything were to happen, he could escape again like he did last time. And the effort from Lee Sin will fall back. And I mean, going back to that early game point you were making, it feels like the only matchup that had gone poorly from EG was in the mid lane, where the Akali was just getting shoved in. But the Senna Kench obviously having a field day in the bottom lane. Same thing with the top lane, and especially when bottom ended up dying and having to use the teleport with nothing to gain from it. So I think if EG ends up closing this game out with the lead that they have, we just need to see a very different bottom lane from 100 Thieves, one that can exploit what EG is doing.
Yeah, I mean, Breezy is eating poke with his shield up and is still taking quite a bit of damage. Giyu looking for another solo kill. Onto Sligo he goes, ulti charge 1. Perfect execution, he's got it. Good kick there for Kenvi. Great follow-up Q, and he is at least going to get the trade. But Giyu is like starting to be a problem in these side lane scrums.
Yeah, because even if he trades 1-for-1, he's still killing you and crashing the wave and getting the gold away from the valuable pick, which is the Orianna. Lee Sin is the champion that you want to just sit there and cash in the entire wave while Nidalee gets to do the Rip Herald up there. So this Akali needs to be contained. But who is going to do it when you have Akali pushing relentlessly and then the Volibear, who is just practically being a Tryndamere in the top lane, just pushing all day, not really thinking about what's going on and using his ultimate to get out.
Yeah, Kumo actually has worked quite a bit of this tower's health down already, putting it under 50, and if he wants can actually just go zip the Herald up there, but mid lane also looking vulnerable. As Deftly and Matt are going to be able to push this in. It looks like Breezy and Prismal ate too much poke in the mid lane once again, because they're not able to defend this tower. It's low enough that they maybe wouldn't want to anyway, and EG, they're going to grab their second tower of this game. 100 Thieves only have 1 kill crumbs. That is all they've managed to scrounge up in this game, and EG very rapidly expanding this gold lead.
Okay, I'm starting to pinpoint what I think a problem could be with 100 Thieves. But before, let's see how EU played this out. So it starts with Gumbly, Q's out, dashes away. Okay, he's fine. Dashes once more. Q, Shroud takes a turret shot. Hey, if he didn't even take that turret shot, who knows? Maybe Kenvi would not have been able to kill him. But I'm thinking back on the draft, and notice what 100 Thieves keeps doing. They blind so many champions that EG always has an answer to. They blinded the Ezreal, EG gets a counter with the Senna. They blinded the Ornn, EG gets a counter with the Volibear. They blinded the Braum, EG gets a counter with the Tahm Kench. So they're really just taking such an advantage with what 100 Thieves keeps blinding that it turns into these laning phases for EG that just continue to pressure 100 Thieves.
Yeah, Red Side I think has been very good to EG so far this series, so that's another potential change to explore in the upcoming games. But still, Game 2 is hanging in the balance. Evil Geniuses have a very big lead. I think it's worth overstating just how far ahead they are right now, but we'll see what they can do in the mid-game, because teams can often find themselves stalling. EG, again, have not had the smoothest season to get to this point in playoffs, but may have very well cleaned up a lot of that stuff here. At least this second game is looking awfully good. But Kenvi going to try and get the blue. He will in fact steal it, and they're going to be forced to flash away because Fake God is ready with the call of the Forge God. Kumo also going to get out, but he doesn't commit his ulti just yet. 100 Thieves, grouping up, trying to find a pick, but EG just zipping in and out of the jungle. That is one of the strengths of Nidalee. Anda has been so efficient at farming with this champion.
And I really like how he has respected the Lee Sin Qs every time they've come his way, because he is not building the armor Nidalee right now. He's gone, oh, that hurts so much, and there's no one to heal him.
This was Season 1 Nidalee Spear. Did he get the red? No, Prisma got it. That was about to be like the most insulting 1-2 punch ever. Spear you and then take your red buff when you were trying to get it. But Prisma at least was able to get that one. but the Infernal Rift is creating all these channels for EG to aggressively funnel into, and Giyu is drawing multiple members of 100 Thieves' attention here in this bottom lane.
None of these guys can really catch up to me. It's only Kenvi if he can do that, and Giyu still has flash, and there's a Tom Kent that can ult down here, so TP's come out.
Ult 1 by used by Giyu. He's going to try and get out of there. Gets kicked, gets queued. He's going to get followed up by Ander with a heal. Might be able to save his buddy. Kenvi going to go down, but the trade does happen. Now EG still getting in there as Kuma's just diving in onto Saligo. Ander's going to grab the doubles. Prismal goes down. Make it 3, make it 4. Going to be 2 apiece there for Ander and Kumo, as the last one, Fake God, is going to give over the ace to Evil Genius's Academy. They wanted the Akali, but it cost them everything.
This Nidalee is such a threat from Ander there. Deletes Prismo, helps out the rest of the team with the heals, and EG just looks like they are completely hitting their stride in playoffs, remembering what they had done last split, having that veteranship from Deathly and Matt, who have played so many games professionally, just really turning up today. Whereas in the 100 Thieves lineup, you do have mostly younger players that, yes, they have won some tournaments before, but to have the kind of veteranship that a player like Someday had before to keep you level-headed, that's missing here.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it. I mean, this trade here, fine, I think, for EG, and then Ander just cleans house in this team fight.
Pretty much one-shots the Ezreal. Spear into combo, gets him deleted, and then there's just nothing else to do. Because Lee Sin has been building lethality. He actually is a pretty relevant damage threat. So if he goes down, that's a big chunk of what you wanted to get out of the rest of the the 100 Thieves lineup when you have an Ezreal that is far behind at 1 and 3.
Yeah, and the other news, I guess, is that not only did they get the ace, but EG actually picked up the 3rd dragon to put themselves on store point as well. So also, the Infernal Soul will be spawning in 4 minutes for Evil Genius's Academy. So an awful lot of things for 100 Thieves to try and navigate. The gold lead is absurd. 8,000 gold between these two teams, and Baron hasn't even been taken once this game. So this is going to be a tough hole to try and climb out of, and Giyu is just continuing to harass anyone who challenges him in the bottom lane.
I think he might have met his match with Ornn, though. It's too much time to try to take him out. In fact, in that time, you could just ask for Lee Sin to walk down, and he could probably make it to help him out. So this might be the best way to hold the Akali at the moment, despite the Abyssal Mass not being completed. And Kenvi will be sneaking down here, hoping to catch a bit of this Akali action thus far. Let's see how they open it up, though, because Fake God is hiding. And it doesn't look like they're going to fall for it. Instead, they're starting the Baron. They suspected, they sniffed it out, and now Kenvi has to beeline all the way.
This is really well played, actually. Kenvi's not going to make it, so they have to get them off the dragon now, but Giyu's TPing in. This flank looks filthy. Prismal, I think, has to try and seal it. Fake God isn't even there, and he doesn't have smite anyway, so the Baron's going to go to EG. Giyu's going to start the flank off early, as Kuma's going to bring the Storms in onto Saligo. That's 1 kill. That's the Baron. Kenvi's going to die here as well, as it's just all gone wrong for 100 Thieves. Evil Genius Academy looking very clean as Giyu's going to redive back in with a Shuriken Blip. Finally gets himself killed as Prismal's going to get one back, but the rest of EG in trouble. Knock up there for Fake God. Going to try and delay the inevitable, but Kumo found the slow with the W. They're going to get Fake God here by the looks of things, and Breezy maybe on the menu next here as he's trying to save his buddy, but Fake God will be felled by Deathly, who's on a killing spree, by the way, at 3-0 and 7, and EG just going to bust straight through the front door.
They saw the Lee bottom, immediately started it, and I have to say, I do respect the move from Kenvi. You are so far behind. There is nobody that you could possibly kill, except maybe the Akali in combination with the Ornn. You go for the play, and even when he got to the Baron, he actually flashed to try to steal it, and it was close because it ended up being Senna who actually took down the objective. So there was an opportunity there, but that was a Hail Mary move out of 100 Thieves. It goes wrong, and that just puts EG even further ahead. 11,000 gold up at 23 minutes. This might be one of our largest leads of the year.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I think 100 Thieves got saved by the Bell more than anything else, because the death timers was so short that EG couldn't actually end the game. So play will continue, but there's an Infernal Soul for EG to take in 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I don't see the way that 100 Thieves can test for it. Giyu is continuing to run amok here in the side lane. He's still bottom lane, and definitely, honestly, has had one of the best center performances I've seen in North America. Like, we don't see this champion all that often. We certainly don't see it in the farming role that commonly, and definitely has made it look so good not just in the 2v2, but in the team fights as well, which is something that Senna can often feel to struggle to have impact in.
Yeah, and I think that the Senna has been a little bit of an EG flair here, because Bang on the LCS team has also been really favoring this pick. And who better to take tips on your AD bottom lane than from a two-time world champion? So I think there's a little bit of the LCS team trickling into Deathly, which is what makes him lean towards this pick and away from the Ashe.
Yeah, I would say seems like a pretty good person to learn a thing or two about the role from. Bang is fairly good at League of Legends. A literal two-time world champion.
Oh, that's better than a single world, than a literal world champion. A two-time literal world champion.
Is what, one of... See, one of... No, he's one of 3 players to ever win more than one, right? Oh, it's plus 1, 2, 3. One of 4 players? They figured it out yet? By the way, Breezy's dead, don't worry about it. And is on a rampage. Definitely actually maybe in trouble. Good flash though from Deathly. And that burst damage, the RFC, just poking poor Kenvy's health bars. We do, I believe, have a pause. We'll get you an update as soon as we know what's going on. But there is clearly a break in the game for now.
I know what's going on. People are dying on the 100 Thieves side.
Yeah, maybe 100 Thieves left. They thought they assumed the game was over. They've gone off to get a snack, and we have to go bring them back. Now, I don't know what's happening. We'll let you know, all jokes aside, as soon as we do have information about why there is a pause. But this game seems done and dusted.
Yeah.
I mean, let's at least recap what we see here for the comps here, because it is a slightly different look here for EG with the picks that they have. But I feel like the result has been even better than game 1, which almost prompts me to ask, like, why didn't you play this comp the last game?
Okay, yeah, so here's what I'm thinking. 100 Thieves, you need to ban the Nidalee. I think the Akali is a problem, but I think the Nidalee is really what is allowing things to happen the way they are. She's just so darn strong. I mean, you've got the better Nidalee players in the world are first picking her in LPL. So this is a champion that definitely, if the skill is there, can deliver. I think And is having a really good game on it. When you feel it on this champion, you got to get rid of it. And maybe that can slow down the Akali, but I would just triple ban everything that EG has been doing, because those 3 bans that they've kept, the Caitlyn, Kalista, and Galio, are clearly, I don't think, holding back EG. They already have something else working for them.
Yeah, I feel like Galio actually wasn't even that good. Like, it was fine, but Galio is not even as much of a part of the metagame anymore. Like, we don't see Twisted Fate and Galio nearly as often as we did before this. I also think there is maybe some looks in the bottom lane where you might just have to move Ezreal away from Prismal, or at least give him a pick later to open up some of these other priority picks in the top half of the map. As a note there, EG did have connectivity issues, so we're going to be able to get back into the game, but we do need to build that delay back up to 5 minutes for competitive integrity, so we'll jump back into the game once the requisite delay is built up. Again, yes, this game feels like it's all but done, but we still want to play out the game to its completion, even though it's quite one-sided at the moment. Yes, the completion feels almost there. Seeing that
so close to
auto attack.
Jeez. That wasn't even, I don't think that was even the Duskblade proc. I'm not sure if that actually came through, but dang, that just shows you the power of that pick right now and the flexibility you get. But we're going to hop right back into the game.
All right. So shortly after, Kenvy got poked by the RFC center. EG still with the Baron buff, by the way. They have this wave on the bottom lane to try and take down another tower. They've already got the mid inhib. This one is definitely off the table, as EG will demolish yet another turret. And they're just pushing in for the kill here. EG going to take this inhib out. They probably don't need to do too much more than... I guess they could take the Infernal Soul if they want it. They're probably going to do that. Call the Forge God here for Fake God. Going to knock up Giyu. Kenvy riding in there. I love the moves, but just not enough here. EG going to re-engage. Good devour there from Matt. And EG just going to try and get out and thwart off the 100 Thieves aggression here.
They can retreat into the Infernal Soul happily. There was not a very good attempt from the engage on the 100 Thieves side. There was not a lot of flanking. It was just coming from the same angle, but Akali goes in.
Oh, Giyu again going to dive in, but he's going to get CC'd up long enough that Kenvy's going to take him out, but Kumo is going to finish things off as he leaps into the back line there. Now really leaps in with the Stormbringer, but he is going to be shut down there by Soligo. Now a 3v4 here, but EG still have the poke. They do want to try and get the soul if they can, but 100 Thieves should not let them get away with this, but EG are going to go straight for it.
Kenvy's not alive to try to steal that. You've got Prismal ultimate and a control ward in the back, so that's his best shot. Here comes the ultimate.
And it's not good enough. A good smite there from Ander there. I did forget that detail, so good catch there, Crumbs, as Kenvy was not around to challenge for that soul. And now EG in a 3v3 with the Infernal Soul. Matt might get a kill here with the Tongue Lash. It's a spicy lick. Makes it close. keep running in, mixes the next one onto Prismal, and Saligo's trying to shield up his teammates. 100 Thieves, like, they want to kill if they can get it. They're desperately trying to get some gold back in, but they haven't been able to find it. 100 Thieves have to defend 2 different waves of supers pushing in as they watch this one again.
This was the 100 Thieves engage. Fantastic devour there out of Matt to get Giyu alive, and then he's getting healed up by the rest of the team. And it does not have a lot of mana, which is, I think, what's hurting the team, and they're thinking if they should be going in. But then, this is just so ambitious, but what can you expect? This is Giyu. This is what you get with him. When he wants to go in, he goes in, and half the time he actually pulls it off. So this was a nice look, although the Senna ultimate did not anticipate where 100 Thieves was going to retreat. They went back up instead of down towards the lane, and then the rest of the team just follows up with him. So at least you like to see that the team is on the same page, trying to follow up on their main assassin. But they still get the dragon, and now are just going to do the ceremonious last lane push as you have the double inhibitors already down.
Yep, Baron also back up in 40 seconds, so if EG need another way to close out the game, they certainly have that avenue available to them. They're up 11,500 gold, and we're not even at the 30-minute mark yet, so there is a chance for 100 Thieves, but it is very slim given where we are right now. So we'll see how this game looks to end here as EG poised to go 2-0 up in this series, as at least mid respawn. Prismal's going to have a little easier time keeping those waves at bay, but maybe not the Akali that's currently rampaging down towards the mid lane.
Yeah, they are splitting them apart, and they can just go to the Baron. They're just going to play it nice and easy. They have full control of the blue side. Again, best case scenario would have been an Ezreal steal here, but it's already been used to clear other minion waves, so they're just going to get this while Giyu plays bodyguard and prevents anybody from coming in. But with the Lee Sin clearing minions from the mid lane, they know there's no threat of a steal. They'll just get this nice and easily, and hopefully go on their last push to end the game. I think they have more than enough. You've got every resource you could possibly want right now.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks to how much map control they had. Like, that is not a very fast Baron at all between those three. Senna, I think, one of the slowest champions at doing Baron for a marksman, and EG still had more than enough time that Kenvi wasn't even close to threatening a steal. So, very cleanly played here for EG. They really haven't let go of the lead at all since they built it up, and looking like they're back in form here, right on time. Looking to peak in playoffs here as EG going to finish off this top tier 2. We'll see where 100 Thieves do want to make their stand.
Okay, so if they were going to make a stand, it definitely has to be here at the tier 3. You could try for at the Nexus for sure, but that's always one of the highest risks because you are getting just harassed by minions from non-stop, and when you've got champions like Ezreal and Lee Sin, you don't want to be fighting with those many creeps. They're actually going to get in the way of you hitting your very important skill shots. Heck, even a champion like Grom is going to be annoyed by these super creeps.
Yeah, mid lane inhib's going to go down though, and they can just work on this last one here in top lane. The poke is good. Saligo gets battered by a javelin there from Ander. Prismal vaulting mid because he's just going to clear out the wave. Kumo is tanking everything. Not a care in the world here for the Death Dance. Baron EG going to finish off this last inhibitor tower as well. 100 Thieves are starting to run out of stuff to defend.
That might be the story of the game.
And yeah, EG take the inhib. They're going to go for the Nexus now. Kumo took out the last inhib because it respawned in bottom lane, I believe. And now mid lane, the Call of Forge God's out, but the Nexus towers are down. Last stand here for Kenvi as he gets blown up there by Ander and the rest of the EG squad. And now they're just going to walk in and finish up the game, but not before Giyu has a chance to dive in. Perfect execution, takes out Breezy. And now the Nexus is open, but they want the kills first. Faker with a very nice looking knockup is definitely supposed to flash away, and now he's going to finish off the Nexus as EG will take a 2-0 lead in the series.
What a turn from how game 1 started, where it looked like 100 Thieves had so much control of the jungle. This was just a slaughter from the very beginning. They held their lanes everywhere. The lead in the mid lane was nowhere near as big, and the jungle matchup was completely Anda favor this time around. The set looked better than the lead, despite Kenvi being known as a fantastic lead player from solo queue.
Yeah, it just felt like none of his lanes were in a position where he could do anything particularly aggressive. It basically devolves into a farm fest, which is really good news for Akali, for Nidalee instead. Good news for Anda. And then from there, it just felt like there wasn't anything they could really do. The objective control they had wasn't there because Saligo wasn't getting nearly the same advantage. bottom lane had no control on the 100 Thieves side. That was all EGA in the 2v2, so they had all the control of the dragons. And even top lane, Kuma was doing just fine in the 1v1. Like, FLICKR's expected to take a loss here or there in that lane, so it's not like he can really influence much either. And once they got ahead, it just felt like a very smooth little snowball. But let's watch this Akali again. The note here from production is that Akali is sick, and I agree. Giyu looking so clean on this champion.
And this is where the rest of the team is ready to back him up. He's got the Shroud ready, the Tahm Kench comes in, and then Volibear. But watch this Nidalee Spear. Bam! Kenvi actually used the safeguard on himself instead of somebody else. That is what gets him killed. But then Akali goes off and still continues to assault the bottom lane. Yeah, you trade 1 for 1, but it doesn't matter. You call down the attention while your jungler is getting you Herald. That's a win.
Yep, and it felt like from there, it didn't really get any easier. EG just continued to snowball the game. We'll take a look now at one of their team fights in the middle of that game. It was right before the dragon, and this was the ace that went into the third dragon, if I recall correctly. And again, it's Giyu that's starting off the trouble.
This is a fight I could watch multiple times for how many different things ended up playing out. So you got all the members of 100 Thieves piling in the middle there. And then it's just that EG is so darn fed where the carries can get to play their range, and everything has been spent on the Akali to try to take him out. Yeah, he's an assassin, he's not that tanky, but they have to go so far out of their way to make sure that Giyu gets deleted because he's such a threat. I would be baffled, Pastry, to see Akali or Nidalee, neither of the two getting banned in the next series because they are having such a strong impact in these 2 games.
Yeah, and there's the team comps again. I'm really impressed actually by Deathloop's center as well, and Matt Sumkench looking good, although I think he's able to play this lane with a bunch of different champions, but I kind of agree that like I just don't think you have enough bans to attack the bottom lane here. I think if you just want Prismal on Ezreal, that's fine. Maybe just give them comfort, but I think move their picks a little bit further down in the draft to try and open up more space, because you have to attack something in this mid-jungle duo, I feel like. Otherwise, Ander and Giyu are just going to roll over this game with Nidalee and Akali.
Now, you can free up a lot of those Kalista or Caitlyn bans and count on EG to first pick it, because 100 Thieves is going to the red side now, and if you can rely on EG first picking one of these marksmen, it does free you up to make sure that you can pinch something else, maybe pinch the mid 2v2 if you wanted to take the Nidalee or the Akali for yourself and get something going on that way. So there is a lot that you can do with these hard bans or these champions that a lot of teams have been hard pressed to first pick, like the Caitlyn or Kalista.
All right, well, with that victory, Evil Geniuses have cemented a 2-0 lead over 100 Thieves Academy, so we're stepping away, but on the other side of the break, 100 Thieves will be fighting for their playoff lives in Game 3. Don't miss it.